All the games, all the sides. Welcome to 5 Minute Lines.
Welcome to the Action Network NBA podcast. I'm your host, Matt Moore. This is 5 Minute Lines for Thursday, November 15th. We've got 3 games on the slate tonight. Great stuff. Make sure to go check out actionnetwork.com. It's got up to the second betting and DFS info. It's got all the information on where the public is coming in, where the sharps are coming in. Great info on props. Our props tool on Bet Labs is really strong. It's doing really well this year. Make sure to check that out. I've also got a big column up on the Warriors and this whole Draymond Green situation, trying to make sense of it. So yes, actionnetwork.com has up to the second, up everything that you could possibly want to know about betting and DFS and gambling, but it's also got stuff from Worldwide Wob. It's got stuff from me. It's just great information. We are making sports fans smarter. Make sure you go to actionnetwork.com. All right. The Golden State Warriors, who are having a bit of a week, are taking on the Houston Rockets, who are having a bit of a month. In Houston, Rockets are a 1.5 favorite. No Steph Curry. Draymond Green expected back from suspension. But wow, I'm a little shocked that the Rockets are a 1.5 favorite. And early going, not a lot of bets, but there's a lot of money on the Rockets here. We just don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know what's going to look like when Draymond and KD share the floor. I will probably wind up taking the Warriors. Look, Houston, I saw them with Denver, and they got a really good win versus Denver. They've won 2 in a row. They're starting to get themselves together. However, they're also really shorthanded right now. Gerald Green might be back next game. He might be back for this game, but that's where we're at, where Gerald Green is kind of important. Gary Clark is going to miss time. There's only between 7 and 8 guys that are really able to play right now for the Rockets. It's the starting 5. Harden, Chris Paul, PJ Tucker, Clint Capella, James Ennis, Eric Gordon, Isaiah Hartenstein, and that's where we start to run out of names. And that's really tough. Now, the Warriors are banged up too. Steph's out, and he's going to be out for a while longer. And again, we just don't know what this is going to look like. It might be a stay away because, okay, so if the Warriors kind of rally, if they use this like adversity and like come together, then they can come out and absolutely just put a statement out versus the Rockets. But we've seen this before too, where if there's a lot of emotional discord going on, it can wind up going the other way and things just get away from them. And you can talk all you want about how, regarding the line, you shouldn't factor in those things, but this is a very important part of it. Like, the human element is a huge part of how the NBA regular season in particular works. It's not just matchups. So on paper, the Warriors, even without Curry, should take care of business here. I think it's probably a stay away. I may wind up taking Golden State just because I can't believe that they're an underdog, even versus the Rockets, who obviously almost had them last year. But this isn't that same Rockets team. They're just not the same squad. James Ennis looked really good the other night, but I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that. We'll see where Clark's situation is. Maybe wait to see what the injury report looks like. But as of now, I'm a little bit hesitant on it. The over-under is 220. Again, I think that one's probably a stay away because I could see these two teams have a tendency to actually play slower and tighter because of how important the games are, but there's also a lot of firepower. We just don't know. The Atlanta Hawks taking on those Denver Nuggets, same Nuggets I talked about the other night. Nuggets really need to win. They've lost 4 straight. Important thing to remember with Nuggets, okay, so they lost the game in Memphis. Jokic only had 1 shot, but that's a road game versus a pretty good Western Conference team. All right, whatever, you could lose that one. They lost to the Bucks on Sunday, which it was a close game. The Nuggets kind of let go of the rope late, and the Bucks are an awesome team. Okay, that one's all right. They lost to the Rockets. All right, well, that's been a matchup nightmare. So 3 of those losses are fine. The Brooklyn loss was the only one that was really bad. But there's a lot of stuff going on with Denver right now. Nikola Jokic is in a funk. He's unhappy. Don't know what he's unhappy about. There's been kind of conversations that comments made by players that indicate that there's some internal tensions there. So be aware of that going into this. The Nuggets are 12-point favorites. They have done well versus teams under 500 at home overall against the spread the last 2 years. The Hawks are pesky, but they'll hang and then they just fall apart. They just absolutely fall apart. 12 is too much for me to go in, so this is probably a stay away for me. I do like the over quite a bit at 222.5. Denver's offense, even when it's bad, still winds up putting up a lot of points. They have been playing at a slower pace, though, so consider that. But given where Atlanta's at, I think this one probably might be the game where Denver gets its offense going and puts up some sort of number closer to 120, 130. And in that regard, they won't hold the Hawks under 100. I like the over quite a bit in this one, even at 222.5. The Spurs, who lost to the Suns on Wednesday night, are taking on the Clippers. Clippers are 5-point favorites. I like where the Clippers are at. They're playing really well. They're playing really confidently. The Spurs are on a road back-to-back. That's dangerous. I'm not crazy about going against the Spurs here in the spot, though. It just seems too obvious, right? Like, it just seems too obvious. I'll probably go with the Clippers, but it's going to be like a half a unit. I'm not going to feel good trusting San Antonio to lose twice. It's a very kind of Spurs thing where, like, you finally drop a game to a team under 500, which they never do, and then they go on the road and they beat the Clippers. Like, that makes more sense to me than just the Spurs being in this much of a funk. All right, that'll wrap it our 5-minute lines. Make sure to check out all of our content on actionnetwork.com. My producer for this podcast, Matt Mitchell, and Ryan Collinsworth, who stayed up late to help me out. Appreciate that. And we will catch you guys tomorrow with another edition of 5-Minute Lines on the NBA Action Network podcast.